My name is Emily Parker, and I grew up in the quiet town of Portland, Oregon. Life there always felt simple, almost predictable. I had a close circle of friends, and among them, Sarah Thompson was my best friend since childhood. We had spent countless afternoons together, sharing secrets, dreams, and plans for the future. When Sarah got married to Daniel Thompson, I celebrated with her as if her joy was my own. I had known Daniel for a few years before the wedding. He was charming, confident, and carried himself like someone who knew how to make people feel comfortable. At first, I admired him for the way he treated Sarah. He seemed attentive, supportive, and kind. Or at least, that's how it appeared on the surface. Months after the wedding, Sarah invited me to spend a weekend at her new home. "Emily," she said over the phone, her voice bubbling with excitement, "you have to come over and see the house. Daniel and I finally finished setting everything up. It feels like home now." I happily agreed. It felt like the perfect chance to catch up, laugh about old times, and see how married life was treating her. When I arrived, Sarah's home was beautiful. A cozy, two-story house on a quiet street lined with maple trees. The scent of fresh flowers greeted me as soon as I walked through the door. Sarah, radiant as ever, hugged me tightly. She looked genuinely happy. Daniel greeted me too, polite as always. "Emily, it's so good to see you. Welcome to our home," he said warmly. Everything seemed perfect, too perfect, maybe. We spent the evening together, talking and cooking dinner. The three of us laughed, shared stories, and everything felt normal. But beneath the warmth, I sensed something unusual. Daniel's eyes lingered on me a little too long. His compliments felt slightly personal, though he said them casually enough that Sarah never noticed. I brushed it off. He was just being polite, I told myself. Maybe I was imagining it. The next day, Sarah had errands to run. "Emily, do you mind staying here? I'll be gone just a couple of hours," she said cheerfully. I didn't mind at all. I enjoyed relaxing in her cozy living room, flipping through magazines and sipping coffee. But then, Daniel came into the room. He sat across from me, smiling in a way that made me feel uneasy. After some small talk, he said, "Emily, can I show you something in my study? It'll only take a minute." I hesitated. Something about his tone felt strange. But not wanting to seem rude, I nodded. "Sure." He led me down the hall to his room, what he called his study. Once inside, he closed the door. My heart skipped. "Emily," he began, his voice quieter now, "I need to tell you something. I've always admired you. Even before Sarah and I got married." I froze. My stomach tightened. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Daniel, stop. That's not appropriate," I said firmly, trying to keep my voice steady. But he continued, stepping closer. "I can't help it. You're different. I feel like I can talk to you in a way I can't even talk to Sarah." I felt cornered, my pulse racing. "Daniel, this isn't right. Sarah is my best friend. She trusts you, and I trust her. Don't ruin that." There was a heavy silence. For a moment, I wondered if he would argue. But finally, he stepped back, his expression shifting from boldness to shame. "You're right," he muttered. "I crossed a line. I'm sorry." Without another word, I left the room and went back to the living room, my hands trembling. When Sarah returned home, I smiled and pretended everything was fine. I didn't want to ruin her happiness. But inside, I felt a storm brewing. That night, I barely slept. Should I tell Sarah? Should I keep it to myself? What if she didn't believe me? The weight of the secret pressed heavily on my chest. The next morning, I made my decision. Friendship, I realized, is built on honesty. Sarah deserved to know the truth. After breakfast, when Daniel stepped outside to take a phone call, I turned to her. "Sarah, there's something I need to tell you," I began, my voice shaking. "Yesterday, when you went out, Daniel said things to me that were inappropriate. He told me he admired me and that he felt closer to me than to you. I told him it was wrong, but I thought you should know." Her face went pale. For a moment, she just stared at me, her eyes filling with tears. "Emily, are you serious?" she whispered. "Yes," I said softly. "I wish it weren't true." Sarah took a deep breath, her hands trembling as she set her coffee mug down. I don't even know what to say. I trusted him. I thought he loved me the way I loved him. I reached for her hand. You didn't do anything wrong. But you deserve honesty, Sarah. And you deserve better. The rest of the day was painful. Sarah confronted Daniel when he came back inside. I stayed in the other room, hearing muffled voices rise into shouts, then fall into silence. Hours later, Sarah emerged with swollen eyes. She looked at me and whispered, "Thank you for telling me. It hurts, but I needed to know." That weekend changed everything. Sarah eventually separated from Daniel, realizing that trust once broken is hard to mend. It wasn't an easy journey for her. She cried, questioned herself, and doubted everything she thought she knew. But slowly, she rebuilt her life, stronger and wiser. As for me, I learned a lesson too. Sometimes honesty can cost you comfort, but it can save someone you love from deeper pain. Years later, Sarah and I are still friends. She's remarried now, to a kind man who truly respects her. And every time I see her smile, I know she found the happiness she always deserved. That day at her house was one of the hardest moments of my life. But it taught me the value of loyalty, the courage it takes to speak the truth, and the importance of protecting the bonds of friendship. Because sometimes, the hardest thing you'll ever do for a friend is also the kindest.